G'day all, welcome back. We're back on the internet together again. Got a couple of 10 news broadcasts today talking about today's March for Australia, and they're being labelled, as you would expect, as far-right extremist movements. Let's watch videos and analyse.
You would have heard a fair bit over the last few weeks about the March for Australia rally.
How you going, darling?
What is it, where is it, and why is it happening? The rallies are on Sunday around lunchtime and are being held in cities across the country: Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane, Perth, Canberra, Darwin and Hobart. How big will it be? Well, that's hard to say, but it seems unlikely to get anywhere near the numbers we've seen for the pro-Palestinian protests.
Exactly right, but that was all right. There was no danger talked about in the media about those. Those are peaceful protest rallies. Everybody there, everyone there was there with a great intention, and I'm sure there were a lot of people there with a great intention. But also there'll be a large portion of them who are very angry. They say it's a peaceful protest, but obviously it's a very touchy subject, touchy issue in society for those communities involved in it. A lot of hate, a lot of anger, a lot of unpatriotic things even said about Australia. Flags burnt, all this sort of stuff. But that's all right, don't worry about that, because they're peaceful. But however, we're going to get Australians marching. So Australians are everyone who lives here. It isn't white people. You can be Indian, Asian, African. I would dare argue that most people living here would be a hypocrite to say it's an immigration hate rally, because most people would have a background where they're a migrant, whether it's one generation, two, three. So I think this whole thing has been misconstrued, but hey, let's not let it get in the way of a good story. The old news rumbling up fears. That's what they do.
According to the March's website, this is to call for an end to mass migration. It doesn't appear to have a main central organisation point, though some activists have jumped on board to coordinate the organisation. In Sydney, a woman under the pseudonym Beck Freedom has claimed she is running the New South Wales side of things. There seems to be a lot of organic growth through influence as well, more aligned with the anti-lockdown sentiments from COVID times. We're seeing AI-generated videos too.
So once again, so you can see what they're doing here. They've brought that person up. She's a right-wing wacko. You can see what they're doing. And then they've got this patriotic video that somebody's put up, CGI. What are they saying? Because it's covered in Australian flags, it's got Australia all over it, that it's racist and hatred. We live in a bizarre world, because I'm just trying to analyse these videos and the images that they're putting out there, because this is to prime people up for today. And I can see what's going to happen. They're going to appeal to people, just do the right thing and don't go and, be a part of it.
Getting the message out and being widely shared. Some local politicians are supporting it, including Bob Katter and Pauline Hanson. There are also pro-Palestinian rallies on this weekend, and there could be some counter-protests and the Sydney Marathon. So plenty to think.
I'm telling you right now, there will be. So I'll try and make a video on this today. Once there's the wrap, once it's done, we'll see what the media says about it. Obviously, there are going to be sections of this protest who are exactly what they're saying, far right. There are going to be people in this counter-Palestinian. So they've got a counter-Palestinian protest. That's okay, though. That's all right. Nothing about that. That's all good. These people are going to seek out conflict. They're going to go to the same place. They're going to start it up. But that's all right.
Think about for our police forces.
What we don't have tolerance for is violence or criminal offending, and the police are ready to respond if that does take place. So I'd say if anyone wants to come along and hijack these assemblies or do the wrong thing, then we have police trucks out there. We will load them up and we'll bring them back to police stations where they'll be arrested and charged.
And one final point, full year net overseas migration, the point of all of this, fell in the 2024 financial year, according to the Bureau of Statistics. Arrivals were down 10% on what was a record year before it. So this graph, which is also from the ABS, shows net immigration over the past...
Okay, who cares, right? So what they're trying to say is this thing that these far-right extremists are worried about, which is migration, hatred. Now, this isn't about black people or people of colour. A lot of white people come in from the UK. It's about people. It's about bodies in the country. It's not about where you're from. That's my opinion. So it's been hijacked to be this is a hate campaign. No, it's not. Everybody can protest for all other reasons. Barely gets any airtime or negative sentiment. But if Australians, which are anyone who lives in this country is an Australian, wants to go and wave a flag around and celebrate the country. Some people are going to be doing it for different reasons. Then you're seen as an extremist. What other country in the world can you not wave around your flag or have a flag in your front yard or something without being called a right-winger? It is complete nutcase. It's lunacy. It is complete lunacy. So let's look at these numbers. So we've still in the last 10 years, this year, which is saying it's dipped, 23, 24. So they don't have any numbers for 24, 25. That'll be interesting to see. Maybe that's cherry-picked because they don't want to show a spike. But just to say it's coming down, it's still leaps and bounds above prior 10 years. Oh, well, actually, it's coming down. So there's nothing to protest about.
Decade. You can see a big dip there. That was down to the COVID pandemic when, of course, our borders were closed. Then the big rise as borders reopened, and it's just come off a little bit from there. Well, Amar Singh is the president of Turbans for Australia and a prominent member of the Sikh community. He's in Canberra tonight and joins us now. Amar, you're concerned about these March for Australia rallies at the weekend.
Okay, once again, he's going to say it's hate. It's people hate Indian people and all that. They get all sorts of people on here, and this could be a guy, be a community leader who'd be somewhat extreme in his view here, that Australians can't say anything about immigration.
Wanting people, in fact, to stay indoors. Why is that?
Yeah, get it here. Look, it is a concern to what we hear and what we see on social media. I mean, people might be going by, fake names and AI videos, but the targets are real. And that's what the community is concerned about. We've had a couple of meetings online with interfaith and multicultural leaders across Australia, and everyone is sort of raising the alarm about who's going to make sure that people are safe. Migrants or people that belong to a migrant or ethnic or religious community going to work going about their business on this day, are they going to be soft targets for these hate rhetoric?
Come on, dude. What, you think everyone's in the street and they're out, it's like the purge, and they're out running around with baseball bats and cricket bats just hitting people who aren't white? Come on, dude. This is completely cherry-picked. They've got this guy on who's now spreading fear in his own community. The whole point of it is not. Everyone who's been coming out and posting about it has said it's nothing about that. It's to stop the numbers. That is it. It's got nothing to do with the Indian community, African community, any Asian communities. It's got nothing to do with it. They get someone on here saying everyone's scared to go outside because you're going to have people running around hitting people with weapons or you're going to attack them, and they're all targets, and it's a hate campaign across the country.
Rallies.
You call them hate rallies. We've seen the number of migrants
just called it a hate rally
after COVID. Everyone has seen that. That is certainly seems to have fueled a lot of the commentary about immigration on the street in daily life. How are members of your community finding that things have changed?
Look, things are changing, but it's not just migrants like myself who belong to a faith community who visibly look migrant. I've got a lot of Australian mates who are married to migrant men and women who they're concerned about their partners going out on Sunday as well.
Once again, right, missing the whole point of it. People have been openly saying everyone is welcome. Everyone who lives in Australia is an Australian person. It's more a march or a walk or a group of people coming together to support each other, to voice their discontent with what's happening in our society. Sure, some people will hijack it for bad purposes, the 1%. It's not about hating immigrants. It's stopping migration. So they're getting the two mixed up. We don't hate you because you're here now. and you've been here for 30 or 40 years, because that would be hypocritical, because most people watching my video right now, I'm sure they've got parents or grandparents or somewhere down the line, they've come from another country. White, black, Asian background, doesn't matter. You've come from somewhere. That's not what it is. It isn't people going out and targeting people of colour. This is how they're promoting it. So for me, I think this is really disingenuous.
So how do we prove someone's Australian? How do we prove, there's people that we know in our own lives that have been in Australia for 30, 40 or 50 years and they still speak with an accent?
Once again, missing the whole point. So they're taking offence that it's a racial event, attacking people of colour who've been living here their whole lives, or attacking people of colour at all. I said a lot of migrants are white. They come from the UK. They come from Europe. It isn't saying stop all black people coming in. What is this rubbish? If you live here now, you're an Aussie. He's got an Aussie accent, you're an Aussie too. Cool, good on you, man. It's not an attack on anyone of colour. Once again, they get these extremists on here spreading this rubbish.
Accent. I'm sure somebody looking at them and where they dress or where they talk could say they're an early migrant and, let's talk to them, why are they here? But they don't realise people have invested their whole life in Australia. We call this our home.
Exactly.
We love our home, and Australia takes...
Exactly, dude. So be a part of it. Come out for the march. If you are interested in doing that, but you don't need to demonise it. You live in this country. You're facing the same issues everybody else is who is fed up. So once again, it's about new immigration. It isn't about people who are already here.
Everyone in, and we have a huge democracy that practices multiculturalism, and we respect everyone. So I'm not sure where this need has arisen from, whatever the crisis people are claiming to be, but average Australians are not blue-eyed, blonde hair or white.
Exactly.
They're from all walks of life,
exactly,
including first Australians who are Indigenous.
Have we seen some of these pictures there of...
Exactly. So all he's saying is today is a white Aryan rally. So what...
Your organisation, Turbans for Australia, which does such amazing work, particularly post-disasters. You've been all around the country helping people after bushfires and floods. One of the things the March for Australia group claims to be about is just simply immigration numbers, but it's fairly clear that there have been comments, example for Bob Catter yesterday, that it seems to be targeted at migrants from specific places overseas. What do you think people are hearing?
I don't get the point, for what Bob Catter is saying, from migrants from certain countries. How do you define what country is someone from? So again, we've seen...
because they get on a plane from that country and come here, and their passport is from that country. I don't understand. I think he's trying to say, once again, this guy's completely misunderstood it. He's creating an issue that's not relevant, which is people who have been here for 40 years or 30 years or 20 years or 20 months. It's not about that. So it's just stupid. It's the media creating a drama out of nothing.
I remember the Cronulla riots, the hate that came about. I know many Nepalese and Indian men who were bashed on trains and other things just because they were going about to do their shift wherever. And these weren't just people who on temporary residence, they were actually Australian citizens. So again, please think about what you're doing. And some of these organisers have been caught out using the words that, they're encouraging violence in these rallies. So what happens? Like, where's the benchmark for our fair and democratic Australian society? This is really wrong.
So what would you say to anyone who's thinking about these rallies, thinking maybe they're concerned about immigration numbers, wondering do they turn up at the rally or not? What's your message to those who might be sitting on the fence on it?
I'll call the average Aussies to do the right thing by not provoking this hate preachers that are out there, because at the end of the day, we all live and work in the same communities. We all pay our bills, our tolls and taxes, right? For an average Aussie, the struggles are the same. Please do not discriminate against a migrant or somebody else who calls Australia home from a multicultural background. We all love Australia, and I think we all need to be fair with each other. Our struggles are the same. Let's sit together. There's so many platforms and forums we can come together to discuss the issues that affect our families and our kids going forward. We can all work on it together.
No doubt about that.
I think the point, because a lot of people aren't even going about migration. It's about a discontent with society in general. The whole point isn't, once again, it's just to bring down those numbers. That's the idea. It's not going to happen, but it's to say we're not happy about it. That's it. The system's buckling under the pressure of too many people coming in. Doesn't matter where you're coming from. Clown world. All right, we've got one more fear-mongering piece and we'll leave it there.
People around the country are preparing to use their democratic right to protest at community rallies across Australia's capital cities tomorrow. But the marches have police and some political leaders on edge, fearful that rallies intended to be peaceful could be hijacked and turn violent.
A day of protest, with conflicting rallies sweeping the country. March for Australia is adamant tomorrow they're fighting for the nation, releasing this video statement.
We're going to have Australians across the country uniting and marching for an end to mass immigration. No one on our side has any violent intention. The purpose of the march is to demonstrate peacefully. All the calls for violence have come from counter-protesters.
But March for Australia has some leaders...
That's exactly right, or blatantly fabricating it and saying that all this is it's a rally so people can run around and attack people. It's ridiculous.
Worried.
I've spoken to countless people who don't want to leave home tomorrow because they're scared of what might happen.
How many? Countless? Well, how many people you've spoken to? 2? Rubbish.
Across the country in Brisbane, Townsville, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, Hobart, Adelaide, Perth and Darwin, they'll march for 2 hours. Organisers say it's a family event.
These anti-immigration rallies are specifically targeting people from our Indian and Southeast Asian communities.
It's the Jewish community today, it's the Indian, the Chinese community tomorrow. Where does it stop?
Others are taking to the streets in opposition.
You got no one saying nothing about all the other bloody protests that happen here.
Have a very loud march, a march as loud as possible to send a very clear message that the kinds of things that March for Australia are talking about are not welcome.
It's about standing up to racism and fascism, both here in this country and in Gaza. That's what.
These are the guys that I specifically hang shit on. No skin in the game on any sort of conflict. They just want to be a part of it and scream and carry on. Getting involved, social justice warring, virtue signalling. I can understand people from those backgrounds being angry and wanting to have a voice and be angry about it and protest and all that sort of thing. I actually get it. No, I think protests do nothing. I think today's protest will do nothing. I'm not cherry picking and saying it's going to do anything. I think they all do nothing. I think they're a waste of time. But my videos and my views on this is more about the narrative that's being pushed out. So, as I said, got some white dude, soy latte drinking guy from Fitzroy, Collingwood, with this thing wrapped around his neck. He's one of them guys.
But we're fighting. It's the same fight.
The federal opposition leader today backing the right to protest.
But that must be done peacefully and respectfully. There is no place for violence, racism or intimidation.
Thousands of police will be out in force.
If there is violence, police will be there and make sure that they protect the rule of law.
And spare a thought for Sydney, with 4 major events along with the march. Refugee and Palestinian supporters will also be out.
See, they've gone and picked the same day because they're going to stir up shit. All right, that's what's going to happen. Why would they be going and doing that to counter-protest and make it about Palestine or whatever other causes are out there when it's been a day that's been planned for people who are passionate about their cause for a whole month? They want to go on a route that's probably going to directly clash with today's protest, and they're going to create drama, and then it's going to be manufactured. It's going to be all over the media that there was a few punch-ons in the crowd because some people are going to get rolled up, and there you go. It's going to be all over the news. It was Australia's shame, right-wing Nazi marches.
And there's the Sydney Marathon with a record 35,000 runners. Police stretched to the limit. Their overtime costs almost $2 million taxpayer dollars.
Authorities stress if you don't need to be in the city tomorrow, don't go. But there are some who don't have a choice, those going to work.
In Queensland,
multicultural communities are frightened. They're frightened and tomorrow they will be laying low. they will be not opening their shops and they will not be going to work.
I have South Asian heritage and I find it disgusting, quite frankly, that the Premier hasn't condemned this racist rally.
There you go. See, people who feel victimised by Australians just want to... Australian, she could be in it too. She's an Australian. She lives here. Once again, it's cherry picking that it can't happen. But everybody else, all the other refugee causes, all the other problems and causes that are not irrelevant to Australia are brought over. That's fine. That's sort of language to me. It's just, that is stuff that provokes hatred. That is the stuff that gets people riled up. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I've had enough of watching this garbage. See you in the next video.